any growth is welcome, but we've got a long way still to go, haven't we? I mean, there's kind of economic consensus that we're 4% poorer since leaving the European Union, and this is set to give us 0.8% of GDP over 10 years. So not a huge amount in, crude terms.
Well, even that relatively small amount, which, by the way, was based on numbers estimated a few years ago before we knew what the deal would look at, would still be billions of pounds of additional revenue. And, of course, this is a trading deal. This is a trading bloc. This is not the EU. This is not a political and economic union. This is a trading system, and that's where the huge benefits will come from.
What about China in all of this? I mean, there are questions as to whether China will want to join this group. From a financial point of view, you can see the sense in it, but politically that's slightly difficult, isn't it?
Well, we've only just joined this group, so obviously, there will be other countries joining, and we will have a say in that. But as I said, the bar was very, very high in terms of what you need to do and how you need to operate in order to join this club, and that will apply to future nations as well. But it goes beyond China. There are many other countries also interested in joining, and we're really excited about that because there's huge opportunities for growth.
Well, to be clear, though, I mean, we've seen the United States sort of turning away from China. What would our position be if China did want to join the group? And, I mean, it's very interesting you say this isn't a political bloc, but, it's impossible to remove trade from politics, isn't it?
Well, and indeed, and as part of the integrated review that we announced recently, we said that, we do realise we will need to trade with China. They're a really important player in the global economy, and they have a huge role in various supply chains. But of course, we need to balance that with our security interests as well, and that is the case now, and that will be the case in the future. But we're not there yet. I mean, we've just joined, literally finished negotiations today for CPTPP. So discussions for other countries that may join, as I said, it goes way beyond China, are really for another day, and we will always take careful considerations into account. And as I said, it's balancing trade with security.
But for post-Brexit Britain, I mean, as important as this may be, politically here and economically, it's only got to be a first step, hasn't it? I mean, what else is on the table? Where else do we need to go to be the independent trading nation that we wanted to be?
Well, of course, we secured the deal with the EU, which was huge. The Trade and Cooperation Agreement itself is a really large free trade agreement. But we've also secured agreements with 70 other nations, as well as the EU, and are currently in negotiation with other major economies, such as India, and also upgrading trade deals as well with countries such as Israel and Mexico and others. So we've got these trading bloc deals, but we're also doing direct free trade agreements as well. At the same time, it's not just about free trade agreements. We're working country by country, subsector by subsector sometimes, in removing barriers to trade, and that's my role here at the Department for Business and Trade. So the free trade deals are really, really important, but it's not the only thing we're doing to expand our trade. But what we're doing is focusing where we've got this real growth and this real opportunity. And CPTPP is key to that, because more than half of the global growth over the next few decades will be in the Indo-Pacific region. So we have to be there. We have to have these relationships. We have to be present. And actually, I'm really, really pleased that we're the first European nation to do so.
Look, diplomacy important in all of this. We've had the royals in Europe trying to exercise soft power, improve our relations with the European Union. We've had Rishi Sunak managing to elicit great terms from the European Union in his Windsor framework. Where does the CPTPP leave our relationship with Europe? I mean, they could feasibly be quite miffed about this, couldn't they?
I don't think they'll be miffed about it, because they recognise the pragmatism of the UK since we've left the EU. And it's about Europe plus. It's about Europe plus the rest of the world. I mean, remember, we're in a world now where it's not about shipping widgets from country A to country B, physical products all the time, as important as they are. We're an 80% service economy, and we have to seek opportunities right the way around the world. And with the digital developments, it doesn't really matter whether they're right next door or at the other side of the planet, because we can trade in a really fluid, easy way digitally in a way that we couldn't a few years ago. And that creates huge opportunities, in particular for the UK services sector, which is admired around the world. So we will always trade with the EU. They'll always be a really important partner for us in trade, diplomatic and cultural terms, and military as well. But the rest of the world is out there, and now we need to grasp the opportunities that are there as well as within the EU.
people watching and listening may either like this or they may not. They'll email in and tell us, Minister, I've no doubt about that. But the bottom line with all of this thing is we don't appreciate these things until we start to see a difference in our lives. Will that happen with this?
It will, and many businesses very, very quickly will see that instead of paying tariffs on the goods that they've exported to these regions, and I say in particular where we don't currently have deals, such as Malaysia, those tariffs will either drop immediately or over time. And we're talking about 99% of goods being exported with no tariffs, the CPTPP. So that will make a really big difference. And also in things like services, it will be easier to recognise professional qualifications, to set up services in these countries, easier for business travel as well. So there will be a really meaningful difference very, very quickly that will build over time, and we genuinely will see an increase in economic activity in this region over time. As I say, strategically it's so important to us. So yes, we've got an announcement today, and I know, people will want to see where the action is, but it will be coming, and we can be very confident about that.
Okay. Minister, really good to see you this one. Can I just ask, how long have you had to spend in front of the mirror going CPTTP to get it off so quickly?
It took a while, and I have to say, when you announced it earlier on as well and got the full name correct, that was fantastic. I thought what you might challenge me is asking me the 11 nations in it as well, but which is taken some time. But,
we'll let you off the hook.
That is great.
On that
but yeah, I mean, maybe the name might need to change at some point, but we're very pleased to be part of it.
Let's hope so. Minister, very good to talk to you this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you.